Betsy Ronell, and my life's been one, and I know I'm not alone. Too many. Each week, with a guest riding shotgun, I'll answer your questions on and life, I know I'm not alone. And each week, with a guest riding shotgun,
Buckle
I'll
up.
answer your questions
This
on
is
life,
Heavens
loss,
to Betsy. Buckle up. This is Heavens to Betsy.
Hi there, and welcome back to Heavens to Betsy. This week I have a fantastic guest. We're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the whole wide world, rescue dogs. Laura Petrucelli. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me, Betsy. I really appreciate it.
Of course. So I'll read a bio on her. My guest today, Laura Petrucelli, has spent her career building celebrity and corporate brands in the world of sports and entertainment. A former WWE executive, she has a passion for storytelling that leaves a lasting impact. She now devotes her time to helping rescue dogs get their second chance at life. A mom of 3 rescues and Connecticut native, she enjoys opening her home to foster dogs in need and volunteering with Connecticut and New York-based animal shelters. She has even become a skilled dog matchmaker, having paired more than 150 families with their perfect canine companion. She's the co-host of Myth Barkers, a new podcast for dog parents that debunks myths and misperceptions about our canine companions. Please welcome Laura. Thank you for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me,
Yes,
Betsy.
absolutely. Okay, so first I got to know about WWE. Tell us how you landed there.
My goodness, I landed there shortly after college. I got to work my way up from the bottom. I started as an assistant, and I ended up chief of staff to Stephanie McMahon and head of brand for the company. So I was really fortunate. I got to travel the world. I got to tell the story of WWE, grow our celebrity and talent brand, so working with a lot of the superstars, as well as our executive team, and kind of shifting people's perception of WWE, telling people what the company was all about, because pretty much everyone you meet knows of WWE, but they might not be fully aware. So I really got to tell the story, be a brand champion, and shift a lot of people's perceptions, which eventually would open up doors for partnerships for the company. And one of the most impactful things that I did while I was there was getting to lead our nonprofit relationship, so getting to manage partnerships on a national and a global scale with Make-A-Wish, Special Olympics, Boys and Girls Clubs, Girl Up. And through that, I realized the impact of a global platform to give back and make an impact in the community. And so since leaving corporate, that's what I decided to do is, give back with my life and just make a positive impact, and doing that with my number one passion, which is rescue dogs.
I love it. That's cool.
Oh yeah, it was a wild ride for sure. I got to go everywhere from Europe to the Middle East with the WWE. I met my husband there.
Wow. And the wrestlers,
and they're just such good people, and it's really a special place.
yeah, I can imagine. I can see that. I'm not a wrestling fan just because I think it's amusing, but just I don't watch it. But I see it, of course, and we know who a lot of the celebrity wrestlers are.
People to be able to perform physically and also tell a story and either get people to love you or hate you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's like the old gladiator performance. They're just.
At the end of the day, it's like good guy versus bad guy. And you want the good guy to win. And the bigger the bad guy, the more the hero has to overcome.
Yep.
And they're listening to the crowd. And it's so interesting how they do this and tell stories and get you to either love or hate the talent. And so, yeah.
No, they're master storytellers. They are actors, and they're in top physical form. I mean, lifting those men. I know that man lifting the other man is strong too, but my God,
And women. That was also my other favorite thing to do, was getting to help lead the women's evolution, which made our female superstars equal to the men. And so this was before women's sports was really getting the traction it has since COVID. So that was incredible too. These women are amazing. Amazing performers. Yeah.
And they're strong. I mean, my God. And they look good, yet they maintain their femininity and their sexuality too, despite, having developed bodies. I think it's fun.
That if you went to a show though, you would have a blast, because it's impossible not to.
Yes.
You just get caught up in it. Yeah.
Yes. I've never met anyone who worked there.
Yeah, it's in the backyard in Stamford. That's where it was headquartered, or is headquartered. So
yeah, I know. I love that. So now tell us how you started Myth Barkers and what you want to accomplish with your podcast, Myth Barkers.
So a lot of what I did at WWE was content, storytelling, promotion production, different things. But so when I left corporate, I was like, what can I do with my time? Because I had time for the first time. I wasn't on a plane every week traveling and doing all these crazy things with WWE 52 weeks a year. So I started working with a shelter, just volunteering as a dog walker. And then I got an opportunity to foster. And from there, I just got hooked. When you help a dog, like, just become a part of, like, you help a dog get to the next chapter of its life, that it goes into its forever home, you're like, wow, this is really rewarding. I want to do more of this. And so I was like, I'm a very curious person, similar to what I did at WB. I was like, I need to just learn as much as I possibly can. And I started working with a few different rescues in Connecticut and New York. And through that experience, I got to become an adoption coordinator. So working with dogs, following them when they come up, either on transport from the south or when they're in need of a rehome locally. Who is this dog? Getting to know them, placing them in a foster home, working with the foster family to understand who they are, what's best suited for them, and then helping to vet applications to match them with a great home for them. And it was in that experience that I've learned so much. I grew up with dogs. I've been a dog mom myself for the last 10 years. My husband and I have adopted 3 rescues. And it was through working in rescue that I realized the average pet parent doesn't know everything that it should.
No.
And there's so much information out there, but there's also probably equally as much misinformation. And so that was when, like, the aha moment came that my friend and co-host Yenna Kim and I were like, you know what, I think there's an opportunity. This doesn't actually exist there, but what if we created a show that would make pet parenting easier by debunking the myths and misinformation about dogs? It's ultimately going to make the pet parent's job easier. It's going to make all of our dogs have better lives. Oh, and if we can also raise awareness for adoption and rescue, like, what's better than that? Yes. So that's kind of, it started, we came together last year. We launched the show in March of this year. We just started our 2nd season. And yeah, that's kind of how it came to be.
Amazing. I love it. When I heard about you, I was like, oh, that is awesome. Thank
you so much.
Fabulous. So I mean, anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge dog adoption advocate, and pit bulls are my favorite breed. And just there's, yeah, and right now they have the negative rap to them. It used to be Rottweilers. It used to be Dobies. It's always something. I just think they're the softest, sweetest, and they're so obedient, which is why people can do bad things with them, because they will do anything to please their owner.
They're incredible dogs. Their stigma is something I'm dedicated to wanting to change.
Yes.
I'm a big advocate for rescue dogs, but especially pit bulls. I would like to see that narrative change. And it's funny because a lot of what I did at WWE was shifting perception and telling people stories of WWE to get them to think differently.
Yes.
And it's really education and awareness. So I'm doing the same thing now in the rescue dog space, trying to help tell the story, because these dogs don't have a voice. So they need us to be out there and fight the fight for them and help protect them, because more often than not, they've been let down by people in their past. And it's not their fault. They didn't do anything.
No, it's just our stupidity and bad behavior, and we're the ones ruining everything. I mean, we just disturb the animal kingdom. And I mean, just imagine people. It's like, if you want to put it on human terms, it's like having an infant, and, you can do anything you want to an infant, because yes, you're bigger, you're stronger, you have power. The same as an infant is the same over a dog or a cat or, any animal pretty much, domesticated animal. And they're at your mercy. I mean, think about how helpless it is. And yet they're just looking at you. They're innocent. They just want to do what you want them to do. And if you're going to harm them, they're going to take it. But it's going to hurt them and make them hard and difficult after a while, because wouldn't you, if you were slapped around and pulled around and, yanked on your leash and shoved in a crate and all the things people do and neglected and not given attention 12 hours a day because you're at work, don't you think you'd have a behavioral problem from that? I mean, I would.
It's horrible. And so many of them land in shelters with a limited time. The time's running out, and they're deemed broken or something's wrong with them, when really they've been let down. They've had to experience something that was awful, and they are resilient. They have an ability to heal, but they need the opportunity for that second chance. And
Correct.
Too often they don't get that.
Correct. Yeah. Most of the time they don't. I mean, when I've had, like, I think I'm into my 30th dog in my lifetime, because I grew up with rescues, always had rescues. And then when I was a young adult in my first apartment, I adopted my first dog on my own. And then I quickly adopted a second dog on my own. So I was, a young single 20-something with 2 dogs that kept me tied down. And my friends were like, "You're crazy." And I said, "I wouldn't have this any other way. What's a home without a dog? I need my dogs."
Best company. They're the best companions, your best friend, the unwavering love. Just they're always there. There's no judgment. I mean, I could go on, and they have so many benefits to us. And I have a lot of people in my life who are like, I don't get it. Like, they're just not dog people, and
that's fine.
They're missing out, I think.
I agree. There's some, and I sleep with all my animals, so they all surround me at night. And, and as I doze off to sleep, to listen to their breathing, there is nothing that's going to take your temperature down more than that.
It's so calming. Just like there are studies like from you petting a dog for 10 minutes, like your serotonin levels will be boosted, like you're calmed immediately.
Yeah.
I sleep with 4 dogs in the bed too, and they are bed hogs, but that's okay. Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's okay. We noodle around them. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're up in the corner of the bed with no covers and barely a corner of the pillow, but we're good because they're happy.
Exactly.
My Chihuahua. Yeah, but my Chihuahua takes up about half the bed. My 5-pound Chihuahua. That's who takes up the most part of the bed. The rest of us are like scooched in the other half.
We work hard so they can have a good life, right?
Exactly. And I wouldn't have it any other way. My goodness. So I love that. So thank you for Myth Barkers. I've listened to some episodes and they're really informative. They're fun. They're honest. They're real. I think you do a really good job of promoting rescue, talking real talk about it, and, being relatable and accessible.
Thank you. And to anyone who's listening or watching, I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just really curious, as is my co-host, Jenna. But we bring on the experts in the space. So whether it's someone in health and wellness like a veterinarian or a trainer and behaviorist, we want to learn from them. And every episode has a myth or a topic that we're going to talk about. Like, is a wet nose a sign of a healthy dog? Or is a wagging tail a sign of a happy dog?
Right.
Because so many times people think, oh, yes, of course, that is what it is, but it's like, no, actually there's so much more you need to learn.
Yeah.
It's not always black or white. And so we really dig in deep on certain topics, but it's been such a learning experience. At the very least, we've learned so much, and we're hoping that other pet parents are getting something from it too.
Good. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I think,
thank you.
I mean, rescue is the way to go. We'll talk. I know the advice questions we're going to give on advice. So we'll touch on, how you acquire a dog and things like that. But to me, a status symbol is not buying a dog. The flex is to rescue a dog. That is the flex. Upcycling a dog. That's the best use ever. It's not chic to like buy a dog anymore, although so many people do. But we'll get into that in one of the advice questions. I don't think it's cool. Once in the 70s, when I grew up, yes, I mean, we had rescue dogs too. There weren't that many though. So we were the house on the street that brought the wounded bird, the stray cat, the lost turtle. That was our house, the stray dog. So that's how we ended up adopting strays, and, all our cats, I think, were delivered to our doorstep. We were that rehab house. And then but it was the 70s. So we also always bought black labs from a breeder. We met the family. We knew the people family. We knew the dog family. We knew where these animals were bred and raised, and we had a relationship with them. And, our black labs were beautiful. But in addition, we took in the strays.
Well, I don't know if you want me to get into it now, but it's like getting a dog from a breeder is not wrong if it's an ethical breeder. The problem is that people don't know.
That's right. That is it. And I agree with that 100%. This is what the do-gooder average dog owner thinks they're doing. They actually think that's rescue, because these breeders say, Maltipoos rescue, Maltipoos for adoption. No, that's not it. They have Facebook pages. Friend me. I have Maltipoos for rescue. So we'll start off with that. Please define rescue, adoption versus buying, because I've had people tell me, oh yeah, I rescued a dog. I'm like, oh really? What shelter? Where'd it go? Oh, this breeder upstate. And oh, really? And by the way, did you meet the parents of that dog? No, we picked it out online and they said to pick it up on this date, or they met us here. All shady shit. Yeah.
No, there's such a big difference, and people don't realize the difference between a dog that's from a breeder or the dog that's from a rescue is the dog being sold for profit that is coming from a breeder.
Right.
And there's a big difference, between an ethical breeder and a puppy mill or a backyard breeder. And too many people don't know the difference. But,
yes,
if you're going to get a dog from a breeder for whatever reason, I'm withholding judgment, you have an attachment to a specific breed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Can you visit the facility?
Yep.
To your point, can you meet the mom and dad of the litter? Do
Yep.
the dogs look happy and healthy? Are they well taken care of? Is there a waiting list for those dogs? Can you get references? Like, are they a reputable breeder who has transparency and communication with you, that you can see the genetic testing and the medical records and everything there? I mean, it's amazing that these backyard breeders are so successful because people just don't know any better. I literally saw a sign at my local grocery store in Wilton, Connecticut the other day that said puppies for sale.
Oh, yeah.
This cell phone number.
Yep.
People call them for whatever, and it's ranged from a couple $100 to thousands of dollars to get this designer breed puppy, but they can't go see the place. You don't know what the parents are. There's no paperwork. I had someone who adopted a sick puppy. And, they lost the puppy and now they're looking to adopt because they've now realized, like, it was such a moment of them like, oh, this place wasn't reputable.
Yeah.
It's like they're doing such a disservice. And as people keep buying these dogs from them, they're going to keep them in business. We have to take a stand and either only get from ethical breeders or choose to, rescue from a shelter or a rescue organization. There's incredible dogs.
Yes.
There's all kinds of dogs. If you have an affinity to a specific breed that you love, I'm sure you can find that dog through rescue. It might take a little bit more time and effort to find it, but you absolutely can. Every type of dog, pretty much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the best is when you can't find a certain breed, or not very commonly, and the reason why is because they're ethically bred. Then, it's the love of the breed, and these families are breeding their animals just once in a while for a litter here and there to keep the breed going. I totally support that. I once took a Newfoundland. I adopted her, but she was the mommy. It was these were champion Newfoundlands. I saw all the paperwork, and of course I wasn't breeding this dog. I don't do that. But the nurse said, I'm moving. I know you take in rescues. Would you like to take this dog from me? She's wonderful, blah, blah, blah. I've always wanted a Newfoundland, and I was like, I would never buy one. So yes, I will take her. She was a purebred, magnificent Newfoundland. She lived to 15 with not one health problem.
Wow.
Gorgeous.
That's amazing.
Gorgeous animal. Yeah.
I can't tell you how many mama dogs we get in rescue that have been overbred and abused, used for their puppies, churning out their puppies, and then they're discarded.
Yes.
No one wants them. And it is heartbreaking to see the abuse that these dogs have endured for someone else to make profit.
Yeah. My Chihuahua, I got her from a rescue on Long Island, and they rescued her from some backyard breeder in the South somewhere. And I saw a picture of her, when she was up for adoption. She was next to like a few gentle giants, different breeds, in some gross cement enclosure with like feces, or it was disgusting. Obviously she was removed from there, but this little girl was overbred. You can see it in her little body. Disgusting. And she's great. She's the perfect dog. She came to me hairless, and I said, oh, this is interesting, because she was malnourished. She was skin and bone. She was about maybe 3 pounds when I got her. And I was like, oh, a tiny one. I've never had a tiny one. And I thought she was going to be hairless. So I thought maybe there's a little Chinese crested mixed in here. Who knows? But she's not. This dog sheds like you wouldn't believe. She's nice and chunky now and, loves food.
That transformation is so amazing to watch when they come from these horrible situations. And all you need to give them is a little TLC, just a little love, some good food.
That's it.
And just the safety and comfort of being in a home they know they're okay.
Yep.
Oh, my God. I get like teary-eyed just thinking about it, because I just had a foster, and over the course of a week, he went from shaking in the corner, not wanting to be touched, to like this happier boy who was like, he's still getting there. He still has a long way on his journey, but just in a week, what has changed is so inspiring.
They're resilient. They don't forget, but they forgive, and they just keep showing up with a smile, hoping it's going to be better this time. They're amazing. animals
Yeah.
are. All right, so we'll get into our stuff.
Yeah.
But tell me, we always have a segment called Why Do People Do That? So tell me what yours is, Laura. Why do people do what?
Oh my goodness, there's so many
There's a lot.
whys. I know,
Yeah.
especially what I do in rescue. I'm like
Yep.
constantly asking that to myself and my
Yep.
colleague. Why do people give up on their dogs? I think that to me is like one that I just can't get over, whether it's the dog is old, the dog is now sick. My favorite, you've had a kid, you had a baby, you don't have time for your dog anymore.
Unbelievable.
You just get like, people treat their animals like they're a used pair of jeans or worn out pair of sneakers. Like, I'm now done with this and I'm just going to discard it.
Right, I don't need it
Or it's
anymore.
someone else's problem.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be judgmental because I know every situation in a rehoming or surrender, most people don't take that lightly, but I also find a lot of people just aren't willing to put in the work.
Oh, yeah.
Or they think the dog they took in was going to be different. And rather than putting in the work or asking for help, they just give up. And that just is heartbreaking to me because usually when a dog is struggling, they need help then more than ever.
Yeah.
And it's on us to help them.
Yep.
So why do people give up on their dogs?
Yeah, it's so sad. I mean, listen, people who own dogs don't go unscathed. We all have had difficult dogs. I've been bitten by my own dog years ago. Did I give up on the dog? I was in the way. There was a moment of a problem. I stuck my leg in the way to like break them up, which is, I learned since you should not do that. My dog bit me. Did I go and attack and hurt the dog and like hit it and give up on it and say it's a dangerous? No, I didn't. I called a behaviorist and we examined what happened and never had that incident ever again. It was a moment. And, they speak a language we think we understand. We have no idea what their communication really is with each other.
That's a big focus for me and a big motivator with Myth Barkers and what I do in rescue, helping people understand how to better read dog body language. And I have to shout out my favorite dog trainer and behaviorist, Jamie Iannello, because she's the best. Lead the Leash on Instagram. She's amazing. I've learned so much from her. Every time I work with her, I learn something new. But just getting to actually understand what the dog is doing and how they're using their body language to communicate what they want. Yeah. So often we think, oh, a wagging tail must mean a happy dog. Did you know there's a million different types of tail wags? Yeah. Depending on if it's like, loose and wiggly or more tense and slow moving or only to the left. Like, it means different things. Dogs are actually communicating with us. We just as humans most of the time don't know how to understand it.
No, because we think they're limited in what they can do, and oh, good doggy, bad doggy, sleepy doggy. Like they don't understand. Shy doggy, they have no clue.
Or we just like interpret our dog's behaviors as certain things. Like, oh yeah, my dog's friendly.
Right.
And it's like actually your dog is saying right now it doesn't want to be engaged with. Like it's telling and you're saying yes, it's okay. Like,
right.
Listen to your dog. Come on.
Right. Right. It's like a thing like, oh, I have to have a friendly dog. Well, hold on. Like, you're not going to shove your child in an awkward situation, or maybe you would, and then you're not a very good parent. But, right? I mean, they have the capacity of about a toddler, and they can communicate. They can tell you what they want and don't want. You just have to they're not a thing.
Yeah, they're living, breathing, sentient beings who have so many feelings, and we need to help them. And part of that is understanding what they're trying to tell us.
Absolutely. So yes, I agree. Why do people give up on their dogs? I don't know. I know. Yes, we're generalizing, but yes, and sometimes there are dire circumstances where they just have to rehome the dog. But what gets me is, oh, we had a baby. We don't have time for this dog anymore. Really? What if your mother, when she had the second child, she was like, I don't have time for you anymore. Out you go. It's the same thing to a dog. They give you everything, and you're just going to toss them out like a handbag you don't like anymore.
They are family, and they should be lifelong commitments.
Agreed. So I agree with that 100%. I mean, it's like this is such a sensitive topic, and we have to be so, PC and everything, which exhausts me. But I have very little patience for that kind of thing. Very little.
There are a lot of resources out there. I think people, before you give up on your dog, you should exhaust every possible resource.
Yes.
Reach out to where you got your dog from the rescue. Reach out to a trainer or behaviorist. The vet. Someone can help you. And if not, there are also incredible rescues like Connecticut Humane Society in Connecticut who have a process for surrendering. Because sometimes if you actually are just struggling, you can't afford to take care of your dog right now, there are groups like them who will help you get the vet care you need.
That's right.
Or there are pet food pantries to help you get through a tough time. Like, people understand that. It's a tough time for the country right now. So,
correct.
Yes, if that's what you're struggling with, like, there are groups that will help you. Don't just give up on your dog.
No, and don't be embarrassed. Yeah, and don't be embarrassed if you suddenly can't afford the vet bills, you can't afford the food, because listen, things get hard. And before you surrender, there are places that can help fund you temporarily. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I mean, just before you give up on a dog. And yes, you know what? Sometimes people who are in housing situations, your housing goes south for whatever reason, and the new place that you have to be in doesn't take a dog. There are places, fosters, that can take your dog temporarily till you find a better solution. There are rescues that will take the dogs for a fee. There's often always a solution for it. Oh, if you get the dog from an ethical breeder, those breeders often will take their dogs back as well. Ethical breeders. These backyard people and these disgusting puppy mills, they will not take the dog back. But an ethical breeder doesn't want anything to happen to its dogs. So it will usually take it back or help you find a new home for it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a huge
topic. Yeah. I mean, in New York City alone, the number one reason for pets, not just dogs, cats, other animals, for being surrendered is housing insecurity. Yep. You know, and I get it. If you don't have a place you can keep your dog, you may have to give it up. It's terrible. It's heartbreaking. You should exhaust all options before never abandon your dog. No. And exhaust options before you surrender it.
Exactly.
Or decide to rehome it. So.
Exactly. And they're really, you'd be surprised how many options there really are. We understand crisis happens. It's the irresponsible people, the self-centered people that we're talking about.
Exactly.
You know, not someone who's earnest and honest and has fallen on hard times, which can happen to any of us. So we get that. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So my why do people do that is, why do people, it's just like what you said before, why do people, and the dog's on the leash, oh, hi, my dog wants to make friends with your dog. Can they play? You know, like they want to come up to you on the sidewalk. No, you cannot talk to my dog. My dog does not want to. And they don't even, you know what I mean? Like that just, oh, hi, is your dog friendly? My dog wants to make friends, loves to make friends. How do you know? How do you know? Makes me crazy. Crazy.
And if the people who have those dogs are trying to initiate some kind of interaction, you need to respect when I, as the other dog parent in the situation, say, no, actually, my dog's a little reactive, or my dog is fearful. Like, actually, we need a space. You know, if I'm stepping over to the side or turning around because I see another dog approaching, like, please respect that I'm trying to advocate and protect my dog.
And yours.
Nothing is worse than like when you're at a park and a dog is off leash and they're coming up to you and you're just like, oh, like so have dangerous. To go get out of this situation as soon as possible. Yep. People, I think, I have to assume it's naivety, or they haven't experienced a more challenging or complex dog, but having had multiple reactive dogs, like I don't mess around with that. You have to ensure that everyone's going to be safe. And forcing an interaction when a dog doesn't want to is not okay.
Exactly. And I think it's well-meaning. It annoys me, but I think these are well-intentioned people. They're just clueless and they're naive and they don't understand the reality, the real world of dogs. Yeah. I never, actually, to be honest, when I used to live in the city with my dogs, I didn't want any part of anyone else's dog if I had my dog with me. They're like, oh, is your dog friendly? No, I'm not friendly. And I would keep it moving. I don't care. Get lost. I don't want to know from your dog. My dog, I don't need any problems here. Thanks so much. Yeah. So, I mean, I never, and even to this day, I am obsessed with my dogs, but I don't bring them out into the world. You know why? Because I don't trust anyone else in the world with my dogs. I don't trust other dog owners. I don't trust how people behave. My dogs are safe and sound right here with their massive yard and each other and me. And we like it that way. We don't need dog friends.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's really tough. Don't get me started on dog parks, because that's a whole other.
I would never. You would never catch me in one. Listen, I like people. I work with people all day long selling their houses. But when it comes to animals and people, I have zero patience.
It's just a lot of people just don't know. Like I was saying before, like you bring a dog to a dog park and you're not watching your dog and you don't know. And the next thing you know, there's a lot of dogs and there's a lot of room for altercations and conflict to happen. And if you're not being responsible, pet parent, something can go wrong. And also like your dog can get traumatized from experiences there. So when I adopt out dogs, some people who aren't as lucky don't have a fenced in backyard or that space to grow. I totally understand you have to do what, to make it work, but go to a dog park when it's emptier, when it's slower.
Yes.
When it's snowing or like it's getting darker because there's no other dogs there. Like, great, let your dog run in a safe space. Like, absolutely.
Yes.
But when it's packed during the lunch hour, like, do not go.
Your dog doesn't really need friends, I don't think. Do you? What do you think of that?
So I actually have found socialization is really important for most dogs.
Okay.
And it's almost like a skill that dogs need to experience socialization from a young age. And I don't mean socialization in that your dog just needs to have other dog friends, but there's a critical socialization period for puppies between 8 weeks and 16 weeks.
Okay.
And in that period, dogs are very malleable, and like the experiences they have then are more potent than they will when they're older. It kind of shapes their personality and their behaviors. So the socialization period is really important. So like when people bring new puppies home, whether they're adopting a puppy or getting a puppy from a breeder, you have to bring it out into the world in a safe way where it can experience things, see different things, different sounds, different smells, meet new people, meet new animals, but in a safe way that's not overwhelming.
Yes.
Because they can feel comfortable and confident. The challenge we see with older dogs who haven't been socialized outside of their home, their reaction can be fearful.
Yes.
And they don't know how to necessarily handle this. I'm not a behaviorist. I'm sure someone else could talk about this more eloquently, but I always reinforce how important it is to keep your dog socialized out in the world in a safe way. So bring your dog in the car ride to go to get a pup cup, or go for a walk maybe in a quieter place. Like, you don't have to be downtown in a city somewhere, but they should experience things outside of your house so that they're comfortable. Because the challenge when they don't is that they almost don't know how to handle it.
Right.
And then they can become reactive, they can be fearful, they can even become aggressive when they're just not sure how to handle these experiences because they haven't learned. So the earlier you can get them used to it, the better. But sometimes you don't have that luxury when you take in an adult dog. You don't know what their experiences have been, so you kind of have to like test and learn to see what their boundaries are in a slow space.
Yep. I rarely take in a puppy because everyone wants puppies, whatever. I take the dogs that have had the roughest time, the ones that are overlooked. So that's why I always have multiple dogs, and then I always, have a yard wherever I live. When I used to have multiple dogs in the city, I would just take them on walks together with each other, and we would not talk to the stranger dogs, and we would just do our own thing.
But you seem like very like engaged and like on it, that you're like, okay, I'm going to be aware, I'm going to be intentional, and I'm going to protect my dogs. Too often people just like aren't, No, you have to be, the walk is for them. So you have to be focusing and make sure you're protecting them and seeing how they're reacting to certain things.
Yes. And like, I used to walk some of my dogs in this neighborhood where I live. And then, other people walking the neighborhood, hi, is your dog friendly? And before I even can answer, the dog's already up in my dog's face. No, that is all wrong. That is, in my opinion, all wrong. Would you like someone putting their hand in your face and, hi, I'm Joe, like shaking your, hand, and nobody wants that.
No, you have to give space because people don't realize that dog could have a reaction that you're not going to like. So there needs to be a safe distance, a buffer zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I mean, we are too crazily litigious in this country. It's gone way off the deep end. I don't want any part of that. Thank you very much.
I was just talking about this in one of my latest episodes, like also parents teaching kids etiquette around dogs, not running up to a strange dog and going, hi, can I pet it? And touching it immediately, because not every dog wants to be touched. So teaching kids to learn how to just admire a dog from afar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was one of the first things I taught my kids, because I knew we were always going to have dogs and we would always adopt dogs. So they needed to understand how a brand new dog might feel. I taught them, don't ever go up to another dog. I don't care what it looks like. You just nod and keep going. Just leave that dog alone. You don't know that dog. I guarantee you, most likely the owner doesn't even know that dog like they should. Don't go near the dog. When I have parties and stuff like that, I always just put my dogs away. I'm not interested. They don't need to meet people. It's very overwhelming. And I just put them in somewhere safe and cozy with a sound machine, and then like music from YouTube or like SpongeBob on. That's it. That's what I put on.
That's so smart. I tell people I do that all the time. I have like dog YouTube on constantly with like the calm music, the lights low, and just they don't want strangers in their house. It's making them scared and nervous, and
it's terrifying.
There's so much room for conflict, and I think about it this way because I've experienced it so much. Most people, until they've experienced it once, it doesn't even cross their mind.
Correct. I agree. I mean, I spent way too much time in shelters myself as a volunteer years ago that it really taught me. I mean, even I was doing wrong things, but I also have just an instinct about dogs. So, and maybe it's because I grew up with them. I don't know. My parents were incredibly responsible around dogs and whatever. So I grew up with immense respect for the animal, for the species. But I keep my dogs to myself. Yeah. I'm not interested in making dog friends, meeting them. No, thank you.
You're protecting them. You're their mama, and you're keeping them safe. And that's what matters.
Always. And years ago, one of my first dogs was a Chihuahua that I rescued from the New York ACC. And he was adorable, but he would provoke a problem every day on the sidewalk. He was about 10 pounds, but I was like, what is wrong with you? I had never had a Chihuahua before. So I had him in a harness, and like, then some big dog would be like, oh yeah, what'd you say? And they come lunging, they're taking their poor owner with them, and they're like, shut your dog, I know. So I would like pull him up by the harness and just like hold him in my arms, enough. It was constant with that Chihuahua. And he wasn't going to do anything, but he thought he was a big badass on the street.
Isn't it always the little ones? Yeah.
Always. What do you, like my Chihuahua now, she jumps out and she'll like, run outside every morning and night. Every time she goes out, she barks as though she's saying, we're here. Everybody stand down. Shut up. What are you barking about? The big dogs are like, oh, trotting along. It's so funny. But yeah, I've always been just very in tune with dogs. I care about their safety and I care about other people's safety. And there's one of your babies.
Yeah, it's one of them. They're like, I know. I see.
Hello. All right. So now we'll go into the advice segment. Yes. Okay. So the first question I selected, and I have people write into me, about the things that they happen to know about me. So a lot of people who know me know that I'm big into dog rescue and adoption and all of that. And I will post responses on Facebook community pages. I'm like, have you ever thought about adoption? So I'm always one of those, crazies being like, adopt. And here's like 5 rescues you could adopt from. And I'm sure people resent that, but I'm sorry. I'm going to advocate for what I think is right.
Yeah, we have to be advocates.
We have to get it out there. And really a lot of it, it's like what you're doing. People really don't know. They think they're doing a good thing because they don't understand the difference between rescuing and buying. And then when they do buy, they don't know what a puppy mill is. They don't know what a backyard breeder is. They really are innocent. And then they're taken advantage of $2,000 later.
And I think there's a stigma with rescue dogs that I'm trying to fight every day with myth barkers. And what I do is, people think they're broken or they're damaged, and they're not.
Yep. No. And I think that's the first question alludes to that. All right. So here's the first question. Okay. I want to get a dog from a breeder. I've been told that those dogs have no issues and are healthier than adopted dogs where you don't know their history. Also, I want a dog that's good with a family and doesn't shed because that's just a mess. I know you're a big fan of adoption. Why? Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Take the floor.
There's so much I could say there. I think that question in and of itself is furthering a myth that rescue dogs are broken and that breeder dogs are, better, or, they don't have any issues. I think we talked about this earlier. Yeah. If you're going to get a dog from a breeder, please make sure it's an ethical breeder and not a puppy mill or a backyard breeder that's using these dogs for profit and not taking good care of them. And, we talked about that before. I think.
And just to remind people, the way to know the difference is you meet the parents of this puppy. You see what their habitat is. You know the people who are the owners of the mom and dad. So you see their environment. If you can't see their environment, even if some people know, oh, these people aren't going to come and take an airplane out here. So here's pictures. No, you need to set eyes, set your feet down in the physical plant of where these little animals are living and witness where they're being bred and brought up. That's an ethical breeder. The rest of them, I'm sorry, no matter what they tell you. A picture doesn't suffice. Yeah.
Yeah, and ethical breeders have done genetic testing and they have medical records and they're taking their business very seriously that
Yes.
are protecting their dogs.
Correct.
And most breeders are not.
That's
Right?
right.
If they're advertising a puppy for sale online in a Facebook group, they're trying to move dogs today, like that is not a good breeder.
Absolutely.
If there isn't transparency or good communication, they don't let you come visit. Or puppies are super, super young, like under 6 to 8 weeks. Like,
yes.
no.
That's the worst. And then, from an ethical breeder, the puppy's not going to be filled with, straw chips, won't have feces on it, won't smell funny. It'll be clean and beautiful and soft, and it will have a nice demeanor. I've seen puppy mill dogs, and there's a difference. There's a big difference. Yeah.
They're just a means for these people to make money, and so we have to stop choosing to go to them and we as the consumer need to make a better decision where we get our dogs from.
That's right.
But we as humans need to help the dogs that are in need and not further these businesses that are not taking care of the dogs, because I cannot tell you how many dogs end up in rescue that come from unethical breeders.
Absolutely. Because you think that those are purebred. They're not, because there's been no genetic testing. Those dogs come with a host of problems and behavioral issues. They're inbred. Mm-hmm. And you should see where usually the mother dog is kept. They've never touched a soft surface. They're in wire cages. They're fed very minimally, if anything. These girl dogs are bred as soon as possible, which is completely abusive and unhealthy. And they're just laying there like feeding machines, breeding machines. If many of you out there who, want your something poo or your oodle doodle something or other, if you saw where that doggy's mommy was held and how she was treated, it would turn your stomach. So I'm not saying you don't get a poo thing or an oodle doodle thing, but go get it from a rescue or go and meet the mother and father and the home it's come from.
Yeah.
And
if the breed doesn't seem like it would make sense, like if it wouldn't breed naturally, that's also like a red flag to me.
Oh my God, that's a very good point.
Mixing a Pomeranian with a Husky or a Mastiff, like that makes me so nervous. Like that's not happening naturally. So let's not further that just because it's cute. Yeah. There are a million cute puppies that you could get that are in search of in need of a chance.
Yeah.
So many dogs that are having unplanned litters all over the place, and these puppies end up in rescue. They're not broken. They did nothing wrong. No. They were just born into a broken system, and so they need a home.
Yes.
And like I said before, you can find almost any breed in rescue if you're willing to look for it.
Agreed.
But I have to say, like, please know the breed you're looking for and do the research. Don't just look to get a Husky or a German Shepherd puppy because they're so cute. Because they are. They're gorgeous. They're so cute. Yes. But they're working dogs. They have very specific needs, and you need to be able to meet those needs, or you're going to have behavioral challenges as they get older.
That's right.
Puppies are so cute. And then when they're 6 months, 9 months, they start getting into their adolescent stage, which also people don't talk about enough. Their behavior changes.
Absolutely.
And you need to know in advance the breed that you're getting and making sure that you're going to give that dog a good home, give them structure. I tell people all the time, if you work full time and you want to get a German Shepherd puppy, don't expect it to sit in your crate happily for 10 plus hours a day. It needs adequate exercise, mental enrichment and stimulation engagement. Like, it needs to be trained. They're working dogs. Those are different dogs than like a couch potato. Correct.
Exactly. No, you can't just get a dog because it's beautiful. You have to, and the maintenance of a dog. Those dogs have I think they have like super duper deep coats. They need a lot of grooming. A Husky does not do well in the dead of summers here. I mean, they're miserable. You've got to do the research, and also what potential health problems there are, because a dog is a lifetime commitment and can get costly.
Yeah. And think about what are you able to do? What kind of dog is going to best suit your needs? And that's why I love the matchmaking in rescue of someone who wants a dog, but they're open to different possibilities, and it's really finding a dog that fits their family. Okay, what kind of temperament are you looking for? What kind of housing do you have? What kind of space do you have? How active are you? Like, let's really find a dog that's a good match, because if you're not a marathoner, you don't want a dog that needs to be run 3 to 5 miles a day, or out working in the fields, or is a working dog, or if you live in a third floor walk up, a dog who might have hip dysplasia is going to have trouble, like a large breed dog is going to have trouble going up and down the stairs when it gets older. Just different things to think about.
Yep.
I don't make these like the matchmaking lightly, and I never like people just to go based on the look of a dog.
No, God, no. My parents taught me that when I was little. I wanted, what was it? An Afghan hound. I was dead set on an Afghan hound. That was the dog I wanted in the 70s. And, we had a massive property, plenty of place for the dog, But my parents said I was about 9, and they said, all right, so this is going to be your first dog. You will be responsible for the care of this dog. We took out an encyclopedia. We read all about the Afghan hound. I went to the bookstore and bought a book on breeds and one specifically about Afghan hounds. And my parents explained to me how much brushing and grooming this dog would take. It would have been my responsibility. And it also had some, sensitivities in its temperament. And they're like, do you really think this makes sense for you, 9-year-old little girl? And I said, no, nope. So there went my Afghan hound. And I actually didn't get a dog, but that was I was fascinated. I thought they were so regal and so beautiful. And I was like, I want an Afghan hound. No, they got real with me.
And in rescue, I should say, like, you don't really know the breed a lot of the time, so you're judging a dog on its look and its temperament, but mixed breeds are the best.
Yes.
They have a little bit more of an even temperament, I think, also.
And they can be very healthy, too. They're healthier,
Yes.
I think. If you want to talk about a healthier dog, other than a purebred that's had proper genetic testing and has been done properly, these mixed breeds somehow just weed out the ick, and they're healthy.
Yes.
Mommy's...
when you're looking for a dog through a rescue, right? They don't know the background of, but you can always ask. Sometimes we know, this litter came from an accidental litter that was given up, or, we know where this dog was before. It's not like we don't know anything about these dogs, and most rescues are going to have behaviorists or other people on their team getting to know the dogs before they place them. So dogs aren't going to end up in your home that aren't, a good fit. So it's not 100% on you.
Right.
You should do your research beforehand to understand, what kind of dog you're looking for, and be honest about your needs, your schedule, what you can really give the dog, and make sure that it sounds like it's a good fit.
Exactly. And let's say you want I'm making this up, one of the smallest dogs is a Yorkie. But we have, 5 boys, 5 small boys. I don't think that's a good match. 5 small boys under 10 and a Yorkie. I don't think so. So you got to think about, it's beyond what you just want and what you think is aesthetically pleasing. Yes, this dog needs to be run. Okay, I'm going to start running. No. What do you like? I have couch potato dogs because I'm a couch potato. I'm not taking them out to do anything. They'll go out and figure it out on their own, and we're good. Then we take a nap. So I'm very real about because I don't want an unhappy situation. I don't want another failed attempt, for this dog, and I don't want to have demands made on me that I can't fulfill. It's not fair. But I will go back to the questions. So I want a dog that's good with family and doesn't shed because that's just a mess. So that would be like one of the doodle oodles. That's probably what they're indicating here, because poodles are supposed to not shed or be hypoallergenic.
There are doodles.
Yeah.
There are doodles in rescue.
Tons.
Doodles that come. Yes, there's a lot.
Because they've been overbred by the puppy mills.
Right. So you can find a doodle mix.
Yep.
Technically there's no such thing as a truly hypoallergenic dog, but dogs that shed less, so it is a consideration. But you can usually find a dog in rescue that meets your needs.
Yeah, so that's why I've been told that. So that's a myth that purebred dogs are healthier. That's a myth. We're busting that myth, right? And they have issues. Period.
Yeah, you can't, just because a dog is coming from a breeder does not mean it's not going to have behavioral issues. Again, it's all about its upbringing, how it's trained, how it's socialized. If the dog is not socialized properly and doesn't leave its house for the first year of its life, and then you start bringing it outside of the house, like, it's going to be scared and afraid of the world. Like, there's so many things that you have to do. It's like the nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
I believe that nurturing is just as important. The environment we give our dogs, how we train our dogs, how we support our dogs is just as or more important than like what they're predisposed to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's true. I mean, just looking back at the question. Yeah, I think, and also it's not a mail order. Like, it's a sentient being. It could develop something, as it gets older. It could develop a social issue. No dog is perfect, just like no human is perfect. They're developing sentient creatures. I mean, they change. Things happen. So I think it doesn't matter if you get a dog from a breeder or a dog from a rescue. No dog is going to be perfect. And you have to work with just like no child is perfect, right? You work with your children. You work with your dogs. They're your fur children. So they deserve as much as a human child, you know?
We're not perfect. No dog is perfect, but I always say there's a perfect match for you out there. You'd have to be willing to be like realistic and honest about what you can provide and what does that dog need.
Exactly. So they're also saying they want a dog that's good with a family. So that could be any dog. I mean, you just need to know what you're dealing with.
There are amazing dogs. There's so many dogs that are going to be wonderful family dogs, but also what does a family mean? I'm assuming by that question they mean having young kids.
Yeah.
Not every dog is going to like kids. Kids can be very scary for dogs who like predictability. Kids make loud noises. They move fast. You know, maybe they don't have the same boundaries that an adult would because they see something and they want to touch it. Now, I don't have human children myself. My dogs are my kids.
Yeah.
I have no judgment, but I do know that some dogs are not as comfortable around kids.
Absolutely.
But if they grow up with kids, they're used to it to a certain level, right? And then you recognize also when the dog is uncomfortable. Again, we talked about earlier, understanding the dog body language, making sure your dog is comfortable in those scenarios.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I adopted out a foster of mine. She was about a year old when she went into her home, got adopted. There was a 5-year-old child. It was their first dog. And the first week or two, the dog who was a year was unsure of the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, who is this? And, you know, we looped in the trainer. The trainer gave him some guidance of like how to expose the dog safely to the child and the sounds and the smells of the house.
Yeah.
And little by little, integrating the dog more and more into the house. Now they're best friends.
Yes.
And like, you know, 3 months into it, the the adoptive family is like, oh my God, we can't even imagine that we had doubts in the beginning because now they're inseparable. And a year later, the daughter has learned to like read and practices reading in front of the puppy every day. Like she does her homework with her. Like they're best friends. They play hide and seek around the house. But in the beginning, the puppy was terrified of the daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you just need to give it a little bit of time.
Yes.
And ask for help when you need the professionals to help.
Yes. Ask for help. Right. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with having a problem. Ask for help. Because oftentimes those problems can be solved. There's always a solution, a healthy and ethical solution and a safe solution for the dog and for the family. But yeah, I mean, you know, and little kids, you turn your back, they're going to poke that dog in the eye, in the nose, pull its tail. I would snap if someone poked me in the eye.
You have to teach, if you have kids and dogs, you have to teach your kids to be respectful of the dog.
Yes.
Or dogs in the house, and also supervise them at all times.
At all times.
Because it's when things are when you're left alone, that's when conflict happens. And so if you can't keep your eyes on them, keeping them separated is okay. We just did a whole episode on Mythbarkers about this, how dogs and kids, in order to have household harmony, there's so much that we need to do to be intentional about parenting both of them and keeping everyone safe. And it's not to scare people. It's just we need to be intentional and proactive to keep everyone happy. And so I have to plug, again, Jamie Allen-Ello's Household Harmony Guide, because it is incredible. It's a free resource to anyone out there. If you have or are thinking about having kids and you have a dog, it takes you through stage by stage, newborn baby, infant, toddler, older kids, like how to bond your dogs and your kids together, safe ways to do that, build the relationship while keeping everyone safe, and things to think about, things to do and things not to do. It's amazing. And I think stuff like this needs to be talked about more, because people just expect everyone to just live perfectly. Or you see on Instagram the picture with the puppy and the dog cuddling.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, like this is so curated. This is not accurate. More often than not, the dog's going to be uncomfortable, and learning how to recognize the signs that maybe a dog is uncomfortable and not putting them in that situation in the first place.
Yes. Agreed. And, you know, I'm a big fan of crate training. If I can't watch them, especially when they're new in the house and I go out or my kids were little, I put them in their crate. They're very happy in there. Their own space. Yes. They love it.
They're safe.
Yeah.
And like, if they're not okay with it at first, they will learn. And there's things you can do by feeding them in their crate, by giving them toys like a Kong with peanut butter or a chew bone, like different things to associate the space is safe for them and it's good and it's comfortable and you're coming back.
Yeah.
But so many people have an issue with crates.
No, they're wonderful.
Like a myth too, like, oh, it's so bad. It's mean to keep your dog in a crate. And it's like, if you're not crating them all day, every day with no breaks, it's not It's not cruel.
It's
It's
not
actually a
cruel.
really safe tool.
Extremely. And it's their bedroom. Like Pippa, she doesn't need her crate anymore. I still keep the crate out because all her toys are in there. She puts them in there. She has her blankie. When she's overstimulated, she goes in her crate. The door's open, but she goes in there, and we know that's Pippa's time out. She
Yeah.
loves it. She loves her crate. So it's
great.
a wonderful tool. You just make it like a little bedroom for them. You know, it's their little safe haven. I once had one of my dogs in the city. I had her not very long, and nobody really knew her history. But I was like, that's fine. I love her. She's great. I'll take her. I'll work it out. I'll figure it out. So I went out once, and this was when I learned about crate training. So I went out once for the evening, and I came home. This dog had destroyed an entire chair with down pillows. Destroyed. And I wasn't angry. I was like, oh my God, what happened? What did I do? She must have been terrified. I mean, I don't know what her feelings were, but obviously unhappy. So what did I do? I got home about 8:00. I went right down to Petco. I lived right down the street from Petco, got the biggest crate they had, bought all the beautiful things, and that was where I put Tallulah. Thereafter, never had that problem again. Ever. The chair was gone. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I was like, I felt so bad, and I also started laughing at the same time. So I was like, what the hell happened here? Somebody's nervous. Somebody's mad at mommy. I didn't know her. And then she let me know I need confinement. And, she was a great dog. She lived to be about 13. Totally beautiful dog. Lab Shepherd mix. Gorgeous. But yeah, so yes, chewing that's a sign. That's a sign that something is not right for them. And it's not their fault. It's your fault. You need to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's a sign of boredom, insecurity, anxiety, all of that. Like I bite my nails. I'm anxious. It's the same thing. It's okay. All right. So, I think so we'll conclude that piece. We're a big fan of adoption because there are so many breeds, and even the oodle doodle breeds are available for adoption. They are not bad or faulty dogs. The situation that they were in wasn't right, but they all deserve a second chance with a behaviorist. A lot of these rescues and shelters do have behaviorists on staff. You can also look up things. There is affordable training out there if you need it.
Some dogs do have behavior challenges that are in rescue.
Yeah.
Some dogs do have medical issues that are in rescue. Yes. But a lot of them are perfectly fine, and their only problem is that they need a home.
Exactly.
Or they need a second chance.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. And these dogs were, purebreds too, same thing. So I'm a big fan of adoption because that's just the right thing to do, other than getting it from an ethical breeder if you must have a specific breed. Right? Okay, we're on the same page about that. Okay, good. All right, so next one. I brought home my new dog, and they just aren't warming up to me or my family. I think we made a mistake. Any advice? Well, you sort of touched on that, but let's go over that again with patience.
People don't realize dogs need time to adjust. Anytime they move into a new home, it's scary. It's a big stressful change, and they need time to adjust to the change.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you feel if you got picked up and moved into a new home with all new beings around you? You didn't know your surroundings. You didn't know what was going on. You would need time, right? I personally don't love change or handle change the best. I need a little bit of time to be patient and get through it.
Yeah.
So in rescue, we have this mantra, the rule of threes. I share this with everyone I speak to that's interested in adopting a dog because it's so important.
Yes.
And I think too often people expect a dog to come into your home on day one and it's just this perfect blissful experience, and that's not always the case. And I actually think having that expectation is setting them up to fail because it needs to be an adjustment. So the rule of threes, for anyone who's not aware, it's kind of guidelines to explain like the stages that dogs go through in a change when moving into a new home. So for the first 3 days, a dog just needs to decompress to their new environment. They've been moved from one place to another, a foster home to a new home, a shelter to a home. Wherever they're going, it's stressful. They may not eat or pee or poop on a regular schedule. They're stressed. They're not in control. They want to control things. So that's what they're going to control is their body. That's all they can do.
Yes.
Just let them decompress. Take it easy. Keep it quiet for them. Make it as gentle of a few days as possible. The first 3 weeks is really when they start bonding with their new family members. they're starting to learn new routines, the new environment. They're starting to get comfortable. And then the first 3 months is when they should truly feel like they're at home, they're confident with their new routine, with their people. And also you've probably seen now their full range of their personality.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a time frame. It's not a magical thing that the dog at 3 weeks is going to change, but like gradually, if you look over, each day, you'll see little bits of wins. And it's not always linear. Sometimes the dog gets comfortable and then they regress. That's all totally normal. Just give the dog a little bit of grace and patience to get through the change.
Yes, exactly. And so we go 3 days, 3 weeks, then 3 months. Mm-hmm. Did we say 3 months?
3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. That's really like the general time frame that we always say. But it's really more just to illustrate that when you take a new dog home, the first 3 days, just like take it easy. The first few weeks, it's really important for them to bond with you as your family member. So don't adopt a dog and then go on vacation in a week from now.
Oh, God.
Or have a party, a week or two into them being home. Like, just keep it the core family, start to introduce them to a little bit of people in their, in your inner circle. And then after those first 3 weeks, then start to really broaden their world.
Yeah.
But it's most important that they bond with you in those first couple of weeks. And so I always tell people when they adopt a dog and maybe they're not taking to a member of the family, they'll probably find one that they bond with first. And then it takes time as you get, as they get more comfortable with everyone. But like, be intentional, and there's different bond building things that you could do with the dog to help build the relationship. You want them to have a positive association. So even just taking them for a walk and giving them treats or doing short little training sessions.
Yeah.
Or even just sitting with them with a respectable distance.
Yes.
Don't necessarily encroach on their space, but just be there and let them know that you're okay, you're not a threat, and that you're safe.
Yeah.
More often than not, they'll get comfortable in a couple of weeks.
I agree, and I think again, this is not a thing. This is not a handbag. This is not a robot toy. Treat them as you'd want to be treated in an awkward situation. How would you want to? Just think about that. They are a child. They have the functionality of a toddler. I think, right? The mental capacity of a toddler, don't they?
Yeah, and I think, especially when you have kids in the house or you have another dog, that's like another thing to think about, because it's not just a change for the new dog, it's a change also for the resident dog that you have. So you need to integrate them slowly and make sure that you're intentional with giving the new dog a separate space to let them decompress, where they're not always in your existing dog's space, or they're not sharing toys or fighting over things. Like, you want to set everyone up for success and do that by a slow integration.
Yeah.
And let them get comfortable and build trust, because that's actually a relationship that's really important that people underestimate.
Yes.
And just think, oh, all dogs like each other.
Yep. I used to think that. Yeah. Even I used to think that. I used to be one of these naive people. And I very quickly learned through my work in rescue back in the day, and having 10 dogs, for a long time, we had 10 rescues for many years. I learned the pack mentality. I learned what real dog rescue is like, and it was eye-opening. And dog rescue or buying from an ethical breeder, same thing. You bring an animal into the home that already has a pre-existing animal or children. It doesn't matter where the dog comes from. There's an integration. The rule of threes still applies no matter what. It's not just for dogs that, you think are rescues and have issues. It's for any dog from anywhere. Yeah, I agree. And the rule of threes is very critical. And just treat the dog as you'd want to be treated, or as you'd want your child treated in a new situation. They're scared. They're nervous. It's a big deal. All right. Number 3. I love taking my dogs on hikes. Oh, we talked about this. Okay. I love taking my dogs on hikes and letting them go off leash. They are animals. Why should they have to be on a leash? I know how to control my dog. I hate the rules of keeping dogs leashed in parks. Seems so unfair to the dog. What do you think of leash laws and dog parks?
So we talked a little bit about this before, but leash laws are so important because they actually keep everyone safe.
Yes.
I don't care if your dog is well-trained, well-mannered, and comfortable off leash. You don't know how any other dog is in that same vicinity. And you could have a dog that's well-trained, who's off leash, who approaches another dog who is dog reactive or dog aggressive.
Yep.
And there could be an altercation, and God forbid there could be a dog fight.
Yep.
And someone could get hurt. So leash laws are there for a reason, to keep the peace and keep the safety.
Yes.
And also, we talked about this too, the people need to learn how to better read dog body language.
Yeah.
And interact with dogs in public, because not all dogs want to be touched. Strangers coming up to your dog, most dogs don't want to be touched by a stranger. Some are friendly and they welcome it. If you see the loose, wiggly body language that dog genuinely looks happy and is excited to see you, okay.
Yeah, that's
but
different.
more often than not, that dog is on a walk with its owner or pet parent who's like, okay, we're doing this ourselves, and they don't want to be bothered. And if they're scared, their ears are pinned back, their tail's tucked, eyes are wide, like they're probably nervous and they don't want to be approached.
Or they're wagging their tail really quickly. That's not a sign of excitement. That's often a sign of nerves and anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, they're stiff. They're looking alert. It's not a positive, welcoming situation. They're scared. Yeah.
So we need to be better at knowing how to read the dog body language, how to advocate for our own dogs, and also just being responsible adults out in public, not letting our kids go up and approach a new dog.
God, no. No.
My favorite. Yeah. Guys, come on. Mama's doing work.
Uh-oh.
I know. One of my favorites is people come up to a new dog and they come from high.
Oh, God.
The dog, like...
Oh, my God.
All my dogs, like, flinch. Like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
They don't know if you're going to hit you. Like, you never meet a new dog like this.
Yeah. And that's even from a breeder. It's a dog's reaction. Like, if someone was coming from above, wouldn't you be like, what's going on? Think of how you would respond. Yeah.
Oh, my God. And don't approach a dog and back a dog into a corner.
No.
Or, like, come at a dog with your hand. Like, no. Like, if you are allowed to say hello, like, let the dog come to you.
Yes.
Let the dog make the decision that they're comfortable.
And also, don't look a dog that you don't know in the eye either. You're not supposed to look them in the eye because that's confrontational to them.
Yeah. Especially if you're like head on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much of body language. They're animals. They're reading our body language. So if we're standing up or we're hunching over them, they might think we're trying to overpower them or challenge them.
Yes.
So having looser, neutral, non-confrontational body language when you're meeting a new dog is so important. I mean, I meet new dogs every day in a shelter, and I used to get so excited and want to go over and hug them. And
of course.
And I've learned how, no, actually, the neutral is better. It's less intimidating. And let them decide to come to you.
Yeah. And so, so back to the leash laws. Leash laws are there. You are not, it's more often than not, in my experience, I see men with their dogs off leash. Do you think you're controlling the beast, the man and the beast war from classic literature? You're not. You're not showing anyone what a big man you are because you're controlling your dog. Let me tell you something. That dog has a mind of its own. You know nothing of that dog. And you let that dog off leash, not only are you putting your beloved pet in danger, you're putting other pets in danger, putting other people in danger, you're opening yourself up to a lawsuit with our crazy lawsuits. You put that dog on a leash in public. There's no reason to have it off leash. If you really love your dog and really respect your dog, you will put it on a leash for its safety.
Yeah, for everyone's safety.
Yes. Yes. I mean, if you are a selfish person, you only think of yourself, you're putting your own dog at risk when you do that. Yeah. You're not showing off. I promise you're not in control of your dog. Because people who do control their dogs and are good, responsible pet owners, they're not letting them off leash like that. They know better. You know, it's only a fool that's running around letting their... I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of people that are going to hear this and go, I love letting my dog off leash. I don't care. It's irresponsible and dangerous. And no, they don't need to be off leash in a public space. You want them off leash by a property with land, and that's fenced. Okay, then you can let them off leash. My dogs are always off leash, but I own my backyard.
And there's certain places that you're allowed to have your dogs off leash.
Yes.
And that's fine. At least then other dog parents know that and they know what to expect.
Exactly.
I've done hiking where at the trailhead, dogs must be on a leash. On the trail, you can go, dogs are off leash. That's fine. I'm warned. My dog, I have a challenging dog or I have a reactive dog. I'm not going to go where my dog will potentially have a conflict.
Correct.
That's fine.
Correct.
But if there are leash laws, you need to respect those to keep everyone safe.
Absolutely. I personally would not feel comfortable in an off-leash situation, again, because dogs have their own language that we do not know. The average dog owner does not know the dog's language. I am not comfortable with any dog off-leash, period. That's my personal purview. I'm not an advocate of that, unless you're in your own private property. I mean, so what do you think? Are you a fan of the off leash areas for parks and things like that?
No,
I'm not.
I'm personally not. I don't
Yeah.
care how well trained your dog is. There's an element of something that you can't control.
Correct.
I don't like it. There's a lot of potential risk, and I'm risk averse when it comes to dogs and
Me
dog
too.
behavior.
Me
I've just
too.
seen it go wrong too many times.
Too many times. Too many times. And it's not the dog's fault. And then the poor dog that is thought to instigate it is the one that gets in trouble or then put down. And it's not the dog's fault. I just think every dog in public should be leashed at all times. And I'm not a fan. I mean, listen, a proper leash with a collar is appropriate for certain dogs if you know how to handle it. Otherwise, I like a harness. What do you think?
I think it depends what you're doing. I will train dogs to walk on a collar because it's more responsive than a harness. I think, in my experience.
Yes.
Again, I'm not a trainer, but when I'm training my dogs to learn to walk, we use certain equipment for training.
Yes.
The ones that are good and know how to walk on a leash, I like to walk them on a harness with the front clip because the back clip lets them pull a little bit easier.
Yes. Agreed.
But it's all about just knowing the equipment and understanding, how to use it. I don't like aversive training techniques.
No.
Especially when the dogs are reactive. They're fearful. They have a lot of feelings. I don't want to make it worse by causing pain to be associated with things. So I try to lead with a gentler touch.
Same.
But I really like to be intentional with the equipment I use.
Same.
And again, if you are having challenges with leash walking or certain things, hire a trainer. That's what these professionals are there for. But also do a little bit of research, because if you have a dog that's challenging, that is reactive, it's fearful, aversive training methods are not going to help your dog be
It's
less
going to make
fearful.
it worse. Yeah.
Too often, people think they can train their dog with an e-collar.
Yeah.
And just zap them into submission, and it doesn't work. And more times than not, you're causing more problems. So.
Correct. You're amping up the issue that's already there. I completely agree, but we digress.
Yeah.
So I think, and also, I mean, so what are some free resources that the general person can go to learn about how to train a dog, how to look up, really feel educated about adopting a dog or rescuing a dog?
So there's so many different resources out there. Myth Barkers is just getting started. We really want to talk about pet parenting, the basics. So the trends of health and wellness, things you should, nutrition, what to feed your dog, talking about basics of training and body language, understanding certain things, what to look for when you're looking to adopt a dog. We're hitting a lot of those topics with Myth Barkers, and we're sharing resources. I think I've mentioned her already, but my favorite trainer and behaviorist, Jamie Iannello, her website, leadtheleash.com, is an incredible resource. There's so many free resources, whether it's her household harmony guide for dogs and kids, or it's different tips, like when you're bringing home a new dog or introducing your resident dog to the new dog in the family. There's so many different guides and tips out there.
Yes.
I think my hope is that Myth Barkers grows to become more of a community where we're really helping people covering a myriad of different topics.
Yeah.
If you know a pet parent who wants to learn more, we are here to make pet parenting easier.
Do you answer, if people write to you on Instagram and message you, will you answer their questions?
Yeah.
Or you help them?
We definitely do. And we're also always looking for suggestions of what topics people want to learn about. We really want to get to the bottom of all the misinformation out there, because it's just not helping anyone.
No, it's not. And Jamie Iannello has an Instagram page, Lead the Leash.
Yep. And so I think that's a wealth of information. I think if people are looking for a dog, I would say look at your local animal shelter, look for a local rescue. There's a shift towards a lot of foster-based rescues now, so they don't have to have the brick and mortar shelter.
Yeah.
But there's rescue groups all throughout the country with amazing dogs that are just waiting to find their home. So I would
Millions.
go to Pet Finder and start searching for dogs, and from there you'll find different rescues, or even just Google search rescues by you. I mean, there's no shortage where we are in Connecticut and New York. There's so many.
There's no shortage anywhere. And and really almost any breed you want is available at a rescue. And you can also call your local rescues or Humane Society and say, hey, I'm looking for a Newfoundland. If one comes your way, please keep me in mind. And they will remember you. So
there's so many dogs that are out there. So if you could just consider adopting, that'd be really helpful.
Yes.
And then if you're not ready to adopt a dog, consider fostering. Fostering can be short term.
Yeah.
You're going to change that dog's life.
Yes.
Giving it a chance to be adopted. And I always tell people, if you can't adopt, you can't foster, volunteer.
Yes. Yes. The socialization and the love that you bring. I mean, we have a friend in common, Shannon. She goes to one of the rescues and she just babies those dogs that she focuses on. And they are just so happy for that hour or two that she's with them. They live for it. And it means everything to them.
And almost every animal shelter or rescue group is going to have a volunteer program. So you can go, you can dog walk, you can help clean up, you can socialize with puppies, you can take them off property for an afternoon adventure, a doggy day out. There's so many things that you can do.
Yes.
Without having to make the commitment if you're not ready to make the lifelong commitment that is bringing a dog into your family.
That's right. And we can't forget St. Mary. Mary is the one who helped me acclimate Pippa to my home. Without her, I would not have been so successful. So yes. I call her St. Mary because she just operates like a saint. I mean, she's amazing.
I'm very fortunate I get to work with Mary and Jamie every week. It's a great team effort where they can work training. They really understand the dog's needs, and yes. I can help them bring the applications in and how do we match a dog with the right family that's going to set the dog up for success.
Yes.
Is this dog a runner? Does this dog need a yard? Does it need an active lifestyle? Is it afraid of kids? Or does it not like certain dogs? Because not all dogs like
yeah.
We try to be so intentional to make the matches that are going to be then forever for the
yes.
dog.
Yes. Yes. So, all right. Yeah. I think we did it. I think we had some great cursory advice here, first layer advice. I'm just such a huge dog rescue and adoption advocate. I can't do it any other way. And we understand that if you really have the desire to have a purebred dog, please go to an ethical breeder. There are not that many. That's the issue. More of what you're going to see are these puppy mills or these backyard people posing as quote unquote breeders. And the true breeders hate them also. So and if you know people who are big dog people, like me, if you have questions about dogs, breeds, whatever, I'll do my best to answer or point you to people who can answer better. But listen, and do to your dog as you would want done unto you, is what I say. They deserve that.
They are the best parts of our lives. They give us so much more than we give them.
So
the least that we can do is just take care of them and advocate for them and be the best dog parents that we can be. So that's what inspired me to start Myth Barkers. That's what inspired me to get in the rescue space in general. My Instagram account, Cooper Lane Canines, is all about rescue dogs.
Yeah.
The different dogs that are in need. So yes, but Betsy, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Thank you.
Really great. I enjoyed talking to you so much.
Thank you. So let's just review. So you run the Myth Barkers podcast, so that can be found anywhere podcasts can be found. You also have an Instagram page at Myth Barkers.
Yes. Myth Barkers is available. Episodes are available on Spotify and YouTube. We're also on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. And then I have a personal Instagram account that's all about my rescue dogs and the work I do there. And that's Cooper Lane Canines.
Yep. Excellent. Good. So look for Laura there. And Laura, keep up the work because
thank you, Betsy.
We love our dogs. We love our dogs. Thank you again, Myth Barkers and Cooper Lane Canine. Catch you next time.